Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach under the sun. Reason why there's no such coaching program like my coaching program, and nobody but nobody spends as much time with and on their clients like I do. True story. All the information for me is below. I coach in Zoom sessions as well as or phone sessions. 2 to 3 times per week is the frequency with which I get together with all of my clients. In the standard package, you have that frequency exactly 2 to 3 times per week via Zoom or phone call. And in the deluxe package, you have 3 mandatory sessions. In between, you can reach out to me by email, text messages, as well as, if need be, by an audio message that I will, of course, reply to. This is for somebody who is going through a lot right now, who needs this hand holding, and this virtually does not exist anywhere else on the internet. I recommend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me. On average, that's what I find is enough, unless you have a special case, a special kind of situation that needs more examining, more processing of emotions, etc. So I'm very thorough in my coaching. I start with your history. I need to examine your beliefs, need to process your emotions again, restructure your beliefs, and then I teach you how to manifest. I want to remind everyone that there is now a monthly subscription for audios that are very educational. This is the entry level coaching, okay? This is something that does not exist again. This is high level educational audios that consist of information that I was going to put into my book. Instead, I've created audios that are 30 minutes or longer, and you receive 15 of those a month. And I cover everything in depth, from specific person to manipulating energy, magic spells, energy work, holographic universe, what have you, all of these subjects that I have never recorded for my channel and never will. And this package also contains in the audios, there are innumerable exercises and also information that I only share one-on-one in coaching. Okay, so you'd be very wise to sign up for that, as well as the video school. Okay, now this is the package only for 1 month only. In contrast with the audios that you can keep renewing every month. And the 12 videos basically walk you through my coaching program. Now, again, in both cases, you don't have access to me, but you can schedule a phone session separately. So today, I'm very excited to share the success story. And I asked my client to write me an email, but she's a very busy person, and I was waiting for her email, but she said, you know what, Anna, go ahead. You know the story, so you can just tell the story, just, leave out the personal information and names, obviously, and just tell the story as you want to tell it. And basically going into this, I just want to say this illustrates my philosophy exactly of how I coach, and how I've coached many, many people, many individuals in my coaching, thousands probably by now. And that is letting go of resentment, okay? Huge topic in my coaching, because resentment, anger, these kinds of emotions, they're very heavy, okay? Heavy energy. And nothing is going to shift for you unless you finally manage to move through it and get rid of it. So here's the story. This client, it's a woman, okay? She came to me almost a year ago now. And we started coaching, and she had, oh my God, so much resentment towards this person. Now, granted, he had put her through quite a bit. Okay, so there was a third party, the story. She met this guy, they really fell in love. They had a really passionate honeymoon phase, etc. And he was still legally married, all right? So they were in separation, but there was still the legalities of it and all this kind of stuff and all these complications. And she just wasn't having any of it, all right? She had her own kind of like ideas about how this should go, and it wasn't happening fast enough, and he was kind of like giving her the runaround, okay? So they had quite a few ugly fights, okay? And eventually she decided to part ways, all right? So it was just not happening for her. And, to be honest, I kind of understand, okay, from, the way that, the stories that she told me, etc. And so she decided to kind of like walk away and not bother and work on herself, etc. Now, this was maybe like 2 years prior to meeting me. So just to put this in context, she met this guy 5 years ago. Okay, this is also to say, time doesn't matter and how long it's been and blah, blah, blah. She walked away from this relationship and decided, no, it's just not going to work out, this and that. I'm just going to focus on work on myself. And I think she met up with a couple of other coaches. It wasn't working out for her with them. And at some point, she was feeling like, I think I really want to manifest him back, and I want to manifest him back on my terms with some corrections, but I just don't know how. She wasn't getting anywhere with those coaches. And so when she came to me, she still had a lot of resentment, but at the very least, she made up her mind, okay, that she wants to work through this and manifest this. So it's not easy for people. Listen, I'm very sympathetic when I say this. Like, I completely understand. Working through resentment is not fucking easy. You really have to want to do it, number one. And number two, you really have to have someone as a coach who knows what the fuck they're doing. Okay, really important. And so we started working. We got halfway through it, and in the middle of the coaching, she said, Anna, maybe this is not a good idea. Maybe this is not a good idea. Maybe this is just not supposed to be, okay? Her doubts kind of like got a hold of her, and she said maybe he's supposed to work it out with her, with his wife, and all these things came up for her, and she kind of like got sidetracked. And I was like, well, listen, I'm never going to tell you what to do. I'm never going to force you. This is completely your decision. So again, she walked away and several months passed by, and she reached out to me. She kept reaching out to me. And essentially 6 months ago, 6 months ago, she comes to me again and she said, okay, I think I'm ready now. I think I'm really, really ready now. And, this time around, we started from the beginning because I really wanted to kind of like reassess where she is at now, et cetera, et cetera. And when I say from the beginning, I really wanted to ask her a lot of questions where she is now. And, listen, people change, even a few months, people change and your perspective may change and the way you feel about things change. And so maybe she did need some time alone, and that's totally understandable as well. But however, this time around, as we were working through, and this is what I mean, you really want to be able to do this, okay? You really want to do this, okay? If you don't really want to do this, it isn't going to work. And I think she was basically making up her mind if she even wanted to do this, okay? This is a really, really important point. And I think when she finally made up her mind that she does want to do it, that's when she came back to me and said, okay, I'm ready. And this time around, there was a difference with her, okay? Because she now took my guidance, stuck it out, definitely did everything and showed up and blah, 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 and did the work, okay? And she wasn't intimidated by her anger, by her resentment, because for some people it's really difficult, okay, once again. And I think most importantly, it's maybe she was even making up her mind that she even was finding anything appealing about the situation. Because like I said, they had really ugly fights, and they both have said very, nasty things to each other based on their quarrels, etc. Two very strong personalities, and kind of like, everything has to be my way or the motherfucking highway. But essentially, it was so that, she kind of like decided, all right, if I'm doing this, I'm going to do it. Yes, I'm going to do it my way. But I have feelings for this person and I want to make this happen. Okay. So, and during this time that was spent this time around, she really started dropping this resentment in a remarkable way. Okay. I was starting to see that she was really taking my guidance, and I started to see that she really started to realize how there can be another version of this person. There can be even a misunderstanding, perhaps, in certain moments, because when you have two strong personalities, a lot of assumptions get made. And also that, she herself had come from other relationships that, didn't work out in the way that she wanted them to be. And there were a lot of assumptions about not deserving to be chosen, not deserving to be loved, not deserving to be the only one, hence the third party. And all of these things definitely played a part, okay? Nevertheless, like I said, she kept telling me, I just cannot stop thinking about him. Like all of these years, I continue thinking about him, even when I was the angriest at him, even when I, I think she chased him at some point and, was sending him messages, and they were not like nice messages, they were angry messages. She was still thinking about him, and she still felt this connection towards him all throughout these years that she couldn't explain. And she just said at some point to me, like several times actually, Anna, am I crazy? Am I crazy that I'm thinking about this person like all this time, and we haven't had communication, and, we were so like angry at each other and blah, 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 blah. And of course, you know the answer, those of you who have been on my channel. No, I don't think you're crazy. I don't think anybody's crazy if you're in this position. It just means that the other person is thinking about you just as much. That's all it really means. Okay, and if you really want to change somebody, that's literally, how can I say, a way to thought transmit to them whatever you want to thought transmit to them. If there is this connection, okay, that genuine passion, genuine attraction, genuine connection, then you can get in there and do some work. All right, you're on the same like frequency, essentially. That's what it really means. And so she started to reinterpret. We do a lot of exercises in my coaching. I don't want to give it away, but we did a lot of reinterpreting, a lot of reprogramming, okay, what she wants to believe about her. Because like I said, we first started and she interrupted it, and we kind of had to start from the beginning. But essentially, what really shifted for her, and this is what I really want to stress, is that she was no longer angry. Okay, there was a piece of her that played into the situation. There was certainly a piece of him, okay, which nobody's perfect, but he had certain situations on his side that I'm not going to get into now. And most importantly, sometimes you meet people in transition where he was separated, not yet quite, finalized his divorce and this and that. And basically, meeting her was, something that quite frankly ended up nudging him to take, more action towards that. And here's the ending of the story, okay? More or less towards the end of our coaching, and this is recent, okay? I literally just got the email the other day, and have been meaning to talk about this. She started interpreting the story differently, and she started interpreting it in a way where he decided to finally choose me. It was always me, and he finally decided to part ways with, I mean, this person that he was married to. It wasn't a healthy situation from what she told me, and it sounded like they were not supposed to have been married in the first place. And again, don't want to get into it, but there are children involved and this and the other. And so essentially it wasn't a healthy situation. They were not getting along, butted heads throughout the entire time, etc. And listen, when you're in an unhealthy marriage and you're separated and you're trying to make things work, this could definitely, put a dent in your mood and this and that. And so she started interpreting the situation that I want him to be okay. I want him to be, the best version of himself, to work on himself, to not just for my sake, but to really clear his aura, really clear his energy, really be the person that he wants to be. And yes, at the very least, an apology, some kind of communication. Okay, she left it at that. And listen to me now. This is what happened actually. So that's what she wanted. She just didn't want to be angry anymore, I think, at that point. And she really just wanted the best for him. All right. So what had happened was actually quite miraculous. Not so miraculous for me, but miraculous for her. All right. So he ended up reaching out, and she didn't want to respond at first, because he started telling her everything that she wanted to hear. Everything that was scripted together, not even a lie, okay? When we first started, when she was scripting and then she gave up, all of these things ended up happening except now she did this with a different kind of energy, okay? Different kind of energy activates scripting in a different way, okay? And we did a lot of energy work with her, which I teach now in coaching, and I teach everybody, whoever's receptive. Listen, some people, I don't know, it might not resonate, but I teach it to everybody, okay? And so he would reach out to her, really, like a ton of messages, essentially. Text messages, emails, this and that. Please forgive me. Oh, before he started reaching out, she started seeing signs, okay? When she was really in this like kind of energy flow of, he's going to, at the very least, apologize to me and explain himself and just, make nice with me, okay? So she started seeing signs everywhere. Then I mean everywhere, like on social media, when she was driving, this and that. And the signs were like, forgive me, can we please talk? Repetitive, like I'm so regretful, blah, 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 things like that, And at some point, I think she even saw, will you marry me? But she left her ass off at that because she was like, oh, yeah, right, whatever. So she kind of brushed it off. And so basically, she wasn't answering the emails. And she was telling me about these things when she was in coaching with me. She still is. But at the time, she was like, I don't think I want to answer. And that's quite okay. If you don't feel like you want to answer right away, that's fine. Like, don't jump on it and be like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this for 5 years, like, oh la la. No, her situation was like, listen, if this is really going to work out the way I want it to, he's going to continue sending me messages because I just really want to get used to this idea that he is a different version now. And if he is a different version, that he's going to continue sending me these messages for like 10 years if I want to. Okay, exaggerating, but something like this. So when that didn't work, he started sending her flowers, gifts, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Of course, he knows where she lives, all these things, cards, invitations to go to dinner, invitations to go to breakfast. I mean, you name it, okay? The guy just like literally went out of his way. And she was laughing and she was telling me like, Anna, I think I'm waiting for the text when he's going to say to me, I want to lick a gem of your toes. That was really funny. Anyway, just like in my videos, audio/videos. Anyway, so at some point, okay, he literally just showed up to her house, okay, to her place, and was like, I am not leaving until you talk to me. I think he like spent hours in front of her door or something like that, okay? I am not leaving I know you're there or whatever, like come out, blah blah blah. I don't know if he was spying on her, okay, or what, but she was really home, and he was really like parked outside her door, like I don't know, for hours or something like that. um and eventually, I mean, she had to leave the house for something, okay? Um, and she came out, and he was like in his car right there. And then he came out and he was like, I need to talk to you. Like, I've been trying to get a hold of you. Like, why are you not responding? And she said, I don't want to talk to you. Like, all of this time she's in my coaching, but she's saying to him, I don't want to talk to you. So, long story short, he asked her to marry him, okay? And now she's thinking about it. So, she did not accept yet. I think she wants to savor the situation. He was very nervous when he was talking to her, very genuine, just like she wanted, very sincere, very apologetic, like almost crying. But she's a little bit of a toughie because she's been through a lot and this and that, and I sympathize. I definitely understand this kind of situation where it's hard sometimes how people affect us, etc. But the fact is, it was possible, and she literally manifested that for herself and proved it to herself. And I think a part of her is almost like incredulous that this is happening now. So she's taking it in. And I know eventually she'll cave because, they definitely, have a lot of passion for each other. And like I said, there was just work to be done. So baby steps, I suppose. But this is definitely a story. And I have these stories like left and right in my coaching where movement doesn't happen. The guy literally goes bananas, or the girl goes bananas, okay? When you shift your resentment, when you let go of your resentment, when there's room for passion, when there's room for love, when there's resentment and anger, there really isn't any room for love. There's no room for compassion or anything like that. And the decision, obviously, when she decided to manifest him and just was really deliberate about it and committed not only to the coaching but to her desires, even though, again, sometimes it's hard. Again, if you've been at it for years and this and that, the human mind will say to you, well, it's been years, so why now? I've never had this kind of relationship, so how could this happen now? And this and that. I'm not getting younger, and all these kinds of things that people are saying to themselves. But you know what? I can tell you, they're both in. She's in her 40s and he's in his 50s, and it's definitely possible. And doesn't. I mean, not that the age is a factor, but here it is. It's definitely possible, and it's 100%. By the way, this is 100% approved by my client, so I'm not saying anything that she did not approve of, but it's 100% up to you. When you want to. When you want to decide to manifest it finally. And I think a lot of people think that they're deciding to manifest something, but they really are not, because they have a lot of other things going on in their mind that contradict their desire. But when you totally focused with your desire in the same direction as your dreams are, okay, then this is what happens. But again, things like all this animosity, all the old version characteristics that you're hung up on, the circumstances of the third party, etc., etc. At some point, I just told her, why do you make the third party more important than you? And that was a question she never even contemplated. That she could be more important than the third party. So these things are as subtle as they are, as simplistic as they are super profound and super important, to really shift if you really want to create a change that you say you want to create. And this doesn't have to be with SPs, by the way. I mean, this could be money. This could be your career, right? This could be your health. This could be whatever. So I just wanted to give you an example that definitely illustrates thousands of examples from my coaching. But this is the very thing I work on in my coaching. And if it's you today, I hope you get inspired that hope is never lost. It's if you want to make it happen, if you have the commitment, and if you have the desire. If you have the desire, I mean, you're halfway there. You have to have the desire, okay? You can't really manifest someone back or something without a real desire behind it, okay, to back it up with. So I hope this inspired you. All the information for my coaching is again below. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.